Alright, you beautiful Guardians. I'm bringing to you my first ever Guardian build. Before we begin, I wish to let you know that I aim to release a new build on the first Saturday each month. These builds will, more than likely, never be specifically for the meta, but rather I want to focus on new ways to have fun and play the classes and minors that might seem counterintuitive to how they're supposed to play. But make no mistakes, these builds will be potent, will be powerful, and, most importantly, will be fun. So, let's spin those wheels and bring out the first Titan build, the Combat Medic. This will actually be a bit of a 2-for-1, since there are 2 different loadouts you can use for the weapons. But first, before we get into that, I want to explain the basic idea of this build. You are a combat medic. You have to play aggressively. Constant movement is the name of the game. After all, if you die, who's going to keep your team alive? To that end, your entire kit is devoted to healing and damage boosting. Yeah, that's right. You're pretty much Mercy from Overwatch, minus the flight ability. Let's talk about what you need for this build to properly work. Solar Titans are notoriously powerful in terms of raw damage output and aggression, and thanks to Consecration, are in fact scary buggers, be it in the Crucible, in Gambit, or in Strikes. That Flaming Hammer is always a terrifying sight to behold, and that's the first aspect we're working with, Consecration. You're going to use Consecration not as a hunting tool solely dedicated to getting final blows and ignitions. This is your clear the area button if too many enemies get in way too close. And the best part is, it will create sunspots for you. Yeah, you didn't think I'd run Roaring Flames here, did you? We're running Sol Invictus instead of Roaring Flames because those sunspots are going to be incredibly useful and very much needed for this build. First off, those sunspots act as a great area of denial tool, damaging enemies that walk through them and applying Scorch in the... And you have 3 methods of creating them: Solar Ability Final Blows, defeating Scorch targets, and Hammer of Soul impacts. But these sunspots do offer more than a tactical advantage on the battlefield. They also offer you and your allies aid. While in a sunspot, your abilities recharge quicker and your super will drain more slowly. Additionally, and this is the important part, walking through a sunspot applies restoration to you. In short, use your aspects to keep yourself alive so that the rest of your kit can be used to keep your team alive. So, what is the rest of that kit? Really, just Healing Grenade for actual Titan abilities. Healing Grenade cures on impact, giving back a large chunk of life, and then applies Restoration, which regenerates your life back to full. And these are the 2 keywords to the entire build: Restoration and Cure. So remember, Cure returns a chunk of life all at once, and that's it, while Restoration continuously regenerates your life for the duration of the effect and can't be interrupted by damage. Additionally, because you're running the Healing Grenade, you're also wearing the Armamentarium exotic chest piece, which, simply put, gives you a second grenade charge. Which now brings us to the fragments: Ember of Benevolence, Empyrean, Searing, and Solace. Benevolence, Empyrean, and Solace all affect your restoration and cures, while Searing gives you access to fire sprites. We'll touch on that in a moment. Whenever you apply restoration or cure to a teammate, which you should be doing often thanks to Healing Grenade and other parts of the build that we'll be touching on soon, you'll gain increased grenade, melee, and class ability regeneration. It's pretty handy, all things considered. Ember of Empyrean simply extends the duration of the restoration effects applied to you whenever you get a solar ability or solar weapon final blow. You know, keep in the fight to keep your teammates alive. And Ember of Solace only does one thing: increase the duration of restoration effects you get. So, all in all, your goal is to keep fighting alongside your teammates. But Ember of Searing seems out of place, right? Defeating Scorch target grants melee energy and creates a fire sprite. Well, both of these are important. remember, your sunspots scorch enemies that walk through them, and the first wave of your consecration also scorches those it hits. So those fire sprites are actually really easy to create. And when you pick up a fire sprite, it gives you grenade energy. Alright, so now we have 2 weapon loadouts to cover, i.e. a primary and secondary in each. No, the heavy weapon literally does not matter. Run whatever legendary heavy weapon you want. So, loadout 1 then, which you'll see in the background. I'm running a crafted Ragnhild D with Enhanced Ensemble and Enhanced Demolitionist alongside Red Death Reformed. The Ragnhild D is for the purpose of finishing off anyone who gets too close if I don't have Consecration at the ready. The Enhanced Ensemble gives a massive buff to both handling and reload while close to your team. Which, you know, you should be considering your goal is to keep your team alive. Enhanced Demolitionist gives a chunk of grenade energy whenever you get a final blow with the Ragnhild D, and using your grenade reloads it from reserves. So, you know, keeping your team alive also keeps your weapon fully loaded if you have any spare special ammo. But Red Death Reformed. Now this is a beaut of a pulse rifle. Redemption, the intrinsic trait, cures you and increases reload speed every time you get a final blow, and reloading immediately after a final blow cures nearby teammates. So, you know, play aggressive and get kills to keep your team alive. But inverse relationship also kicks in just for dealing and taking damage. Dealing damage increases the handling, reduces the flinch, and increases your movement speed for a short time. And while you're at reduced health, Red Death Reformed gets a damage buff. In short, you're playing aggressively and keeping alongside your teammates to keep them alive. However, Loadout 2 is slightly more healing focused. No Hesitation is a brand new legendary auto rifle introduced in the final shape. It's a special 600 RPM support frame auto rifle. Dealing damage charges the No Hesitation, which can then be hipfired to heal teammates. Heal enough and both you and your teammate get a small damage boost. The 2 best perks to lean into that healing is Physic and Circle of Life. With both of these, when you rapidly heal any teammates, everyone around you gains restoration and No Hesitation gets a damage buff. But the other weapon of note is an often overlooked one, Lumina. Lumina is a truly unique exotic hand cannon, thanks to Noble Rounds and Blessing of the Sky. With Noble Rounds, getting a final blow with Lumina creates a Remnant, 2 if you have the Catalyst, which can be picked up and converted into a Noble Round while also partially refilling the magazine. Thanks to Blessing of the Sky, hip-firing a Noble Round and hitting an ally heals them and gives you both a damage buff. I sincerely hope you enjoyed this. Please hit the like button down below if you did, and if you want to catch more builds, shorts, and other videos, feel free to hit the subscribe button. I'm also live every Tuesday and Thursday playing Destiny 2 over on Twitch. Every subscriber really helps this channel grow. Until next time, Guardian, I'll see you Starside.